Welcome to Deep Cuff Channel. USA and Ukraine gave a message of unity against Russia. Volodymyr Zelensky's visit to Washington continues. There are historic developments in Patriot and ATACMS systems. Russian leader Vladimir Putin is afraid of Ukraine. With the arrival of Zelensky to the USA, the conflicts at the front began to intensify. What is Russia's new strategy? Ukrainian army continues to crush the Russian troops. Upcoming Crimean operation can begin at any moment. What capabilities will Patriot air defense systems give the Ukrainian army? Vladimir Putin is preparing a New Year's surprise for the Ukrainian army. Moscow has begun to gather its tank troops. We may see a great battle soon. Ukrainian army continues to advance thanks to its successes at the front. General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine shared the latest news about the situation at the front. Accordingly, as a result of the operations carried out by the Ukrainian Defense Forces, the Russian army lost 660 soldiers, 1 aircraft, 1 tank, 2 armored combat vehicles, 6 artillery systems, 1 multi-barrel rocket launcher system, and 5 unmanned aerial vehicles. With these losses, the total number of soldiers that the Russians lost since the beginning of the war exceeded 100,000. In addition, the Ukrainian army repulsed a total of 16 attacks that the Russian army tried to carry out in the Donetsk and Luhansk regions, and prevented the Russian troops from advancing on the front. In addition to these attacks, Russian troops attempted a total of 64 attacks, 6 missiles, and 15 airstrikes using multi-barrel rocket launchers in the Zaporizhzhia area. Ukrainian army, which was prepared for these attacks, gave a great lesson to the Russians by conducting 16 attacks against Russian military personnel, after preventing the attacks with its air defense systems. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian army also blew up a critical storage center in the Luhansk region, local sources reported. It has been reported that the Ukrainian army has attacked this region for exactly 20 hours using air and artillery units. It is stated that this ammunition depot is in a critical location for Russia and the damage is unbelievable. Shortly after the explosions in the ammunition depot, explosions began to be heard from the Mariupol area. According to Petro Andriuschenko, advisor to the mayor of Mariupol, the Ukrainian army launched very violent attacks on this area. It is said that after these attacks, the Russian army started to send attack helicopters to the region in order to respond quickly. Increase in the attacks of the Ukrainian army on Mariupol is the harbinger of the attack on the Crimean Peninsula. As a matter of fact, according to intelligence sources, the Ukrainian army started to collect information about the Crimean Peninsula. It is stated that the Ukrainian army is currently examining Russian air defense systems and troops in the region. Probable start date of the attack is next spring. Meanwhile, Russia is preparing to take a new step to disrupt the war strategy of the Ukrainian army. According to military sources, Russia will launch a historic missile strike against the Ukrainian army today or tomorrow. Sources state that Russia will use all the means at its disposal, including long-range missile systems and warships, for the attack. If Russia gets the desired efficiency from the attack, it may want to break the resistance of the Ukrainian army by activating unmanned aerial vehicles. All Russian missile systems, as well as 14 Tu-95 and 3 Tu-22 bombers, are expected to participate in the attack. We continue to monitor the critical zone. Main reason for the increase in Russian attacks in the recent period is the visit of the President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky to the USA. While the Ukrainian leader was flying to Washington, serious security measures were taken by the U.S. military. In addition to the intelligence planes accompanying Zelensky's plane, the F-15 warplanes also provided serious protection. This is a clear message to Russia, because NATO planes took off to protect the leader of a non-NATO country. It is not difficult to think that the main topic of the Zelensky and Biden meeting will be the war and aid in Ukraine. As a matter of fact, the USA also gave an official intimidation to Russia by announcing an important aid package to Ukraine, including Patriot air defense systems. Another important point in the bilateral talks is the transfer of ATACMS systems to Ukraine. Although there is no official development in this regard at the moment, we do not know what will happen in the coming days. Meanwhile, Zelensky's visit to the USA began to receive serious reactions from Russia. Press Secretary of the President of the Russian Federation, Dmitry Peskov, stated that the Kremlin has not heard words from the Ukrainian and US presidents that they are ready to listen to Russia's concerns. Russia fears the friendship of the USA and Ukraine. Main reason for this is the Patriot air defense system assistance announced last night. Critics of Patriot argue that the missiles are too expensive, require difficult and time-consuming training, and cannot reach enough numbers. That's right, Patriot is really expensive. However, the economic losses suffered by the Ukrainian army will decrease when the Patriot systems reach the region, because these systems will provide real protection against Russian missiles and unmanned aerial vehicles. Moscow also has some chosen words for Patriot. Russian authorities constantly threaten to shoot Patriots if they are sent. Russia will not be able to hit a single Patriot system. Ukrainian army will be able to master the Patriot air defense systems, which will be supplied to Ukraine by the USA, within a few months. In this context, Ukrainian Air Force spokesperson Yuri Ignat made statements about systems and training. According to Ignat, the Ukrainian military needs several weeks of training to use this system. In addition, Defense Minister Alexei Reznikov, in a telephone conversation with his American colleague Lloyd Austin, assured that the Ukrainians will quickly master the Patriot. Russia can take new steps to prevent the activation of these systems at the front, because if the Patriot systems become fully effective, the air force of the Russian army will completely lose its effectiveness. In this context, it is claimed that Vladimir Putin started to prepare a New Year's surprise in Ukraine. This surprise marks the missile and artillery attack from the Belarusian region and the Donbass. In addition, Vladimir Putin is trying to take the necessary steps to increase the number of military personnel to 1.5 million. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu said on Wednesday that Russia needs a force of 1.5 million to ensure the fulfillment of its security missions. This statement seems to mark the start of a full-fledged mobilization campaign for Russia. Within the scope of the partial mobilization decision announced in the past months, it was claimed that 300,000 new soldiers were recruited into the Russian army. However, these soldiers did not change the situation at the front. In addition, Russia aims to defeat the Ukrainian army by strengthening its ground troops. For a few days, videos have been shared on social media that trains loaded with Russian tanks pass through Belarusian territory. It is said that the final destination of the tank brigades is the Belarusian border with Ukraine. Russia aims to carry out a ground operation against the Ukrainian army from the north by including Belarus in the war. It is among the news that Russia wants to use its most capable tank battalions for this ground operation. I do not think that this strategy of Russia will be successful. Victory to Ukraine. We will continue to monitor the world and especially Ukraine. We'll see what happens in the next few days. We have reached the end of another video. You can support us by liking the video. You can easily follow new videos by subscribing. I wish you all a war-free day. See you.